I think it's a really very great event. I see very interested and very motivated students, and also I see a very good organization, so I am very well impressed. When I was invited to the campus, the organizers let me know that the issue this year were going to be conflicts and its resolutions. So basically what I try to see is first of all try to take a broad view of what a conflict is. And a conflict can be, for instance, a debate that a country has over the use of a given resource. And so after just going into the different types of meanings that the word conflict can have, I mean, a conflict not necessarily is the obvious conflict between two parties. It can be also, it can represent a conflict between two different opinions of one person or within a country. After going into this analysis, I try to put on the table like very simple economic concepts for students to realize that there is potentially a problem to solve in countries that have a large non-renewable resources. And what I try to show them is that the resolution of this problem and how countries resolve this problem can have very different consequences for the current generation and the future generation. It can result in many different configurations for the economy, for society as a whole, because the way you spend these resources is going to be reflected in relative prices, is going to be reflected in the relative compensations of different type of occupations, and so this is going to have an influence in the current generation and in future generations. And so it is very important that you decide on a rule to spend the resources that does not create problems neither for this generation, future generations, and does not result in an economy to be imbalanced in the sense that produces only goods that can be non-traded and only imports goods that can be traded. So that is more or less the content of the presentation. I found the questions from students to be very interesting. I mean, and they were actually quite related with the issue that was discussed. Some were related to how to resolve uncertainty on future oil prices, so then what oil prices should be used in the budget, or some were related about the views about future oil prices, some were related about the conditions that are needed in a country to adopt the right solution for the use of oil prices. All very relevant questions and very interesting, so deeply grateful for the invitation. So basically what I was trying to put on the table in the presentation is that oil is a non-renewable resource, and so since it's non-renewable resource, it's finite. It means that once it's extracted, it cannot be recovered. So there are different ways that a country can use this wealth. They can, I mean, the current generation can extract it and use it completely, or the current generation can actually use part of this wealth and leave part of this wealth for future generations. And what I was trying to point out is that if this asset that you have is very big and the current generation use it completely, right now in the current generation there are many consequences. The first and most obvious is that current generations are going to have a higher standard of living than future generations. The second one is that you are going to create incentives for people to be studying and be devoting their energies to the production of goods that are non-traded, instead of devoting their energies to produce things that you can sell abroad. And the problem is that when oil runs out, you are going to be left with a structure of the economy that is basically dominated by non-tradable goods, and you are not going to have anything to actually trade abroad. So you're going to be in a vulnerable position. So what I'm trying to say is that this problem needs to be solved in a way that takes in consideration all these factors. The fact that you need to be fair with future generations, you need to be fair also with different sectors of the economy, and you need to be sure that by spending this resource you don't create imbalances in your economy that can generate in the future very painful adjustments.